A third of the people say they just don't know about this thing. About a third oppose it, and about a third, which is underneath Trump's sort of core base of 39%, say they approve. That's a tough start. And I want to put that fact out and then show you how many of the Republicans claiming to cheer Donald Trump's war policy are already on record saying he wouldn't be good at this kind of thing anyway. Take a look.
I don't think he has a clue about anything.
Every administration has been saying he's a threat to our country, he's a bad guy. This is the first guy that's actually done something about it.
I would much more prefer not to turn over the party to a con artist like Donald Trump.
Not only do we think it's good for the people of Venezuela, it's in our national interest.
He's putting our soldiers and diplomats at risk. He's empowering the enemy.
His ass is in jail where he deserves to be, and every president has said the same thing, but he didn't.
What's your breakdown, James?
But Lindsey Graham is always good for a good laugh. I mean, that guy is the greatest political pretzel I've seen in all of my time in politics. I mean, he really is. He can get himself all contorted into God knows what not. But that's not the question here is people are skeptical of this because what are they doing? They had the meeting at Mar-a-Lago with all executives. You give me $1 billion, I'll do anything you want me to. Now he's notifying all companies, giving them prior notice that they're going to do something in Venezuela. He's talking about we're going to do all this. Look at what happened at that meeting that was publicly reported. And as I recall, you and I talked about that on this very show. When he met with all of a guy by the name of Hal Ham, who's a big Oklahoma all guy, put the whole meeting together. Well, I tell you who's not involved in this operation in any way is any Schlukerk in the United States. Anybody that thought they were voting for Donald Trump because he cared about their lives, he cared about the cost of living or their wages or their health care or anything else, you're not part of this deal, Junior. You just stay out on the outside and look in, and the oil company is going to cut their deals. And that's just what's going to happen. And people are two-thirds of the country that doesn't like this or is on the verge of not liking it. It's pretty clear.
And so Democrats, in your view, should hammer that or say what?
Well, I think we should certainly hammer who benefits from this operation. We're doing all this. Who's going to be the winner? Is a deputy sheriff in some rural Iowa going to be the winner here? Is a dental hygienist and Western Montana going to be the winner here? I don't think so. You're not. There are no shoe clerks in this poker game, and you're not in it. It's not going to affect your life. In fact, it could very well adversely affect your life because we're saying international order doesn't matter. Anybody could look if it was legitimate to invade a corrupt and an attempted authoritarian nation, and we better get troops on San Francisco and Boston and all up and down the East and West Coast because we would be ripe for invasion if somebody wanted to overturn a massively corrupt regime, which is, in my opinion, which we have here right this minute. And I think it's unfolding right in front of us.
We mentioned the new year. We're starting with this, but Trump was ending the year with problems in the real economy and inflation, with Republicans revolting on more than one issue, revolting against him, with Epstein, where he, of course, had the huge loss and then ended the year breaking the law. And he has said, he's aware of it. You catch him sometimes, he's blunt, and he's alluded to the fact that he's frustrated and they lost the elections off year. Here's a brief sound of him telling Republicans, hey, why don't people like what we're doing? Take a look.
But I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on with the mind of the public, because we have the right policy.
Referencing the public not being happy with Republican policies. And so, James, as a political person going into the midterms, do you view this New Year war push, which Trump clearly wants to continue, threatening multiple countries, as a reality that Democrats have to deal with if they want to turn the focus back to Epstein or healthcare or what have you?
So you can do this exercise at home. The number of mentions of Epstein in the press, the 7 days prior to this Venezuela incursion, And then a number of Epstein mentioned the 7 days following the incursion. I guarantee you it looks like the Mariana Trench. And in his mind, this is Operation Epstein diversion, and that's worked better than anything. And that's for certain. And I mean, he's doing this for a lot of reasons. One is to get the political heat off of him, because every time you turn around, I think they said they found 2 million more documents.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And this is just going to keep coming. He knows he's going to lose in November. He knows, and he's saying the Democrats are going to, of course the Democrats are going to investigate you. Why wouldn't they? And he's closing in on him. And what I'm fearful of, and I think everybody should be, today is Venezuela. I don't know, they're talking about Greenland or Mexico, or who knows what they'll do to try to save him and try to get between the Epstein scandal and Donald Trump, which is going to be hard to do.
Yeah. We heard from the Congresswoman tonight about Jan 6. That was our top story. Anyone who cares about America and the rule of law and democracy can mark this, although we know politically Trump has tried to retract what he once said, which is that this was a heinous, terrible day. I want to play a little bit more of that testimony that we actually heard today by this individual, Pamela Hemphill, who declined the Trump pardon. Here's what she said today.
I want the Capitol Police to know how truly grateful I am to them and how deeply sorry I am. I can't believe people are still disrespecting you and trying to lie about January the 6th. I will do everything I can to stop the lies.
James, is there a political war over history here? Does it matter? And who's winning it?
It matters. There is a war, and the good guys are winning the war. Period. Full stop. Look at every election we've had. Look at every poll. Look at where Trump is. We're going to have a massive win in November. That is going to happen. They're not winning this. And if Trump wants to understand what's happening to him, I'll tell him right now, we're not a cruel people. Well, we're not a lawless people. All right. And you're not doing anything to help any American get forward. You've added $3.5 trillion in debt, all to give people like Paul Singer and Hal Ham a big tax cut. And people don't like that, and that's not who the United States is. And you don't understand that, but you're getting taught that, and you're going to get taught that very authoritatively come November of 2026. That's my message.